Australia's Prime Minister Scott Morrison has been heckled by bushfire survivors as he visited a small town that was devastated earlier this week, which killed 2 residents.
How come we only had 4 trucks to defend our town? Because our town doesn't have a lot of money, but we have hearts of gold, Mr Prime Minister.
Nah, you're an idiot, mate.
I understand the very strong feelings people have. They've lost everything, and there is still, some very dangerous days ahead.
Well, Bloomberg's managing editor for Australia and New Zealand, Ed Johnson, joins us now with more on this. Ed, that was not a very successful visit for the Prime Minister, was it?
No, terrible optics there, Paul, for Prime Minister Scott Morrison. Just yesterday we were speculating as to whether this kind of tremendous outpouring of anger that we've seen on Twitter and Facebook would cross over from that echo chamber of social media and enter the real world. And yesterday it did. The Prime Minister visited the town of Cobargo, where 2 people died early this week in bushfires, and you've seen the reception that he got there. Elsewhere during the visit, people refused to shake his hand, including a volunteer firefighter. More embarrassing images that just keep on playing on television. And also the Liberal Transport Minister in New South Wales State, Andrew Constance, a member of Morrison's own party, said that he probably deserved that reception and should think about opening his chequebook so that communities can start rebuilding their lives.
Of course, we know that the Conservatives have really tried to downplay the link between the huge wildfires and climate change. What are some of the missteps that the Prime Minister really carried out during this crisis as leading to this sort of reception?
First and foremost, he took a holiday pre-Christmas. He went away with his family to Hawaii and left the country without announcing it, as is usually quite typical when an Australian Prime Minister leaves the country. They announce who their deputy is going to be during that period. He cancelled that trip and came back early after 2 volunteer firefighters died. He's largely been accused of lacking in empathy and having a tin ear. Whilst people have been incredibly shocked and shell-shocked and traumatised by these huge fire fronts bearing down on their communities, and yet the Prime Minister has been seen meeting cricketers ahead of a cricket test and talking about sport at a time when they said he should be visiting those bushfire-ravaged communities.
Yeah, you talk about huge fires, and they are huge, some of them the size of small countries, and the evacuation zones that are being set up, people being told to leave now, they're enormous as well, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely extraordinary. States of emergency have been declared for huge swathes of New South Wales, 14,000 square kilometres, I just read before coming on air, and people are being told to get out of those areas now before a return of catastrophic fire conditions by Saturday. We're looking at searing temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius and strong winds, which will fan more than 100 blazes still burning in New South Wales, causing those embers to be carried tens, if not hundreds of kilometres and sparking new fires. We really are looking at a very, very dangerous situation over the weekend.